Joining us now here with this special presentation from the Responsible Nutrient Management Foundation is John DeBoer. He's with Midwest Laboratories in Omaha, Nebraska.
My experience with responsible nutrient management goes back to when I was like about 7 years old. At that point in time, my grandfather had been a farmer all of his life, and he and my uncle and I were walking through the field. And my uncle said, "The University of Nebraska has a new service. They can test your soil and tell you just exactly how much fertilizer to put on your soil in order to grow the crop you want to grow." Interesting information. I remember that. 68 years later, I still remember that information. And it's important information then, it's important information today. Soil testing is an integral part of determining responsible nutrient management. And Midwest Laboratories is a major soil testing laboratory, and over the years, over the 40 years of our history, we have helped farmers determine exactly how much fertilizer needs to be applied to their field to grow the crops that they want to grow. That's all part of sustainability. That's all part of being economical in the development of the food products that we're developing. Every day here at Midwest Laboratories, we receive samples from all over the United States and even Canada. Once those samples are in the building, they're laid out on tables and lab numbers are applied to each sample. That lab number follows the sample all the way through all the analysis that's done here at the laboratory. The tests that are run on a soil sample are to determine the fertility of the soil before fertilization so that we can determine the amount of fertilization that should be done. An important part of the soil test is the pH reading. pH is very important to the way nutrients react in the soil, and so it's very important we do that. But we're also testing for nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, sulfur, zinc, and other micronutrients. All those things work together in determining what the crop is going to do. We try and provide the farmer with all the information that he needs to do a proper fertility program to grow the crops that he needs to grow. One of the advantages today is that we have global positioning, so we're doing precision agriculture, and consequently we know exactly where that sample came from. With precision agriculture, many times they're testing as small an area as 2.5 acres to determine what the fertility is in that area. And with the computers that we have today, the application to that land can be done exactly as per needed for that specific 2.5 acres. Farmers are responsible for feeding the world, and every year the world's population grows. We hear statistics all the time about how many people there are going to be 25 years from now and 50 years from now, and how much food it's going to take to feed those people. Farmers are going to be responsible for that. We have to keep the tillable acres productive every single year, and that means we have to watch them and care for them carefully. You know, when we look at responsible nutrient management, we think of ourselves as altruistic, that we're wanting to feed the world in the future. And that is what responsible nutrient management is all about. But it's also about protecting the land that we have and the growers that are working that land. If that land is not arable and not tillable in the future, we're not going to be able to feed the world. So yes, there is an altruistic effect of responsible nutrient management, but also there's an economic effect on the growers that are using that to make themselves more successful, to make themselves more viable and more sustainable.